Welcome to Our Inner Wisdom. I'm your host, Charlie Lundholm. We are in some intense times right now, and we could all use help finding some balance and clarity. To help with that, I'll be sharing channeled messages, interviews, and discussions on a variety of topics designed to help you feel more grounded, calm, and connected to your source. I thank you so much for being here today. Now let's go tap into our inner wisdom. Hello and welcome. There's been an interesting theme recently regarding conversations that I've been having, channelings, things that I've been drawn to read, and it all has to do with messages and guidance that we can get from people who have passed or people who have had near-death experiences. And the latest one I thought had a really nice visual to go along with the message, and I wanted to share it with you. A friend of mine and I were having coffee, and she was talking about a friend of hers who had recently passed. And this woman was a beautiful soul, a beautiful spirit, and she had had, unfortunately, multiple bouts of cancer and treatments, and it returned, and she decided that was it. I'm not doing anymore. So after she passed, my friend got in touch with an intuitive. Just wanted to go check on her, see how she was doing, make sure everything went smooth, see if there were any messages that she wanted passed on to her family. What she said was that as soon as she crossed over, what she learned was a value to her regarding her illness. This is how she described it to my friend, that we are all walking around with backpacks full of stuff. Her description were rocks, that we, all through our life, we keep throwing rocks into our backpacks. And that these rocks are, emotional stuff, old emotions, old beliefs, old hurts, all of that old, heavy stuff that, we love to carry around. And so her vision was that it was a backpack and these were rocks, and that because we held them for so long, we didn't see them anymore, but they were still there. And her desire was for her family to know that that wasn't necessary. Her message to her family was to drop the backpack, to let the backpack go, or at the very least, empty it out, and to be aware of it. And I thought that was such a wonderful visual for us, because we can go for decades holding on to old stuff. How many times have you heard people talk about their childhood, or what somebody did to them in high school, or something that happened to them 40 years ago, or even something very small that may have happened to them a week ago, but they're still chewing on it and allowing themselves to get worked up all over again as if they're right back in the moment. And I see those things as those rocks in our backpack. And the interesting aspect of that, and especially as it came through her message and other messages that I've been receiving, is that it has a big impact on us. So, if you think about a big, heavy backpack, like if, every day you walked out the door and you picked up 100-pound backpack full of rocks, obviously it's going to start having an effect on your physical body, right? It's heavy. It weighs you down. Well, these are energetic rocks. These are energetic, heavy blocks that you're carrying around. And it's going to have an effect on your body, because that's a lot of stuff to carry. It's a lot of weight. And isn't it interesting how we always say, oh, I got the weight of the world on my shoulders? Well, another way to look at it is the straps of that backpack. Yes, definitely the weight of the world, the weight of your past, the weight of your beliefs, your wounds, those times that you went into victim role and maybe never came out, those times where you chose to not go into forgiveness. And a lot of times that means forgiving ourselves too. I'm not just talking about what other people do to us. But a lot of those rocks in our backpack have to do with how we feel about ourselves, how we judge ourselves, what we did, what we should have done, what we could have done, what we shouldn't have done. All of that stuff that for some reason we hang on to forever. And it takes its toll on the body. It takes its toll on our health because it takes its toll on how our energy can flow. And to have someone who recently crossed over get that information so quickly of this played a part in my life, how she lived her life, how it affected her physical health. I had another conversation with somebody who was talking about a diagnosis that they recently got, and it was a cancer diagnosis, and how in the split second, as soon as they heard that word, they knew exactly what it was about. It was about holding on to stuff, holding on to those old grievances. And he knew right then. So he was able to shift it and to heal and to complete a cycle of hanging on to it, reliving it, hanging on to it, reliving it. And I think that's an important message in all of this, is that it isn't just the fact that we hang on to it. So we have this kind of dense, heavy vibrational energy hanging out in our body somewhere, but that it has that ability for us to relive the situation, or a similar situation comes into our lives and then it pushes that button, right? We say that all the times. Oh, she pushed my buttons. Those buttons that light up that old stuff and keep you living in that space. So like you're never really free. You're never really free. That's just a big statement in itself, isn't it? And to be free of that stuff, the backpack, the rocks, the way that we are so hard on ourselves, the harshness from ourselves and other people. It has a huge impact on our bodies because our bodies are dealing with a lot every single day, right? Trillions of functions go on within your body every single day to keep you alive, to keep you healthy, right? The body's always in this state of regenerating, and we can help it by not carrying around a backpack full of rocks. It's amazing how much stuff we carry. I was just trying to think back on all of the healings and all of my clients over the years, and I'm trying to think if there was one single person who wasn't physically impacted by old stuff that they were carrying around, and I can't think of anybody right offhand. It's that powerful, and it is that impactful. And you hear about these kind of messages in people who have near-death experiences where they are suddenly given the choice of, okay, you can go or, you can stay. What's it going to be? But in that moment where they're being given that choice, they're also being shown what could be causing some of the disharmony in their lives, whether that be physical illness, emotional upset, mental trauma. But they get that instant message. They get those aha moments. And I think that we get those messages without having to have something major going on in our lives. I think we get those messages quite a bit. I think they're offered to us. And I think we ignore them. And I think we've all been there. I think we can all identify times where we know we should do something and we don't. And then hindsight, right? We say, I knew it. I knew I shouldn't have done that, but I did it anyway. So sometimes it's that evident. And other times, maybe the messages are a little more subtle, or maybe they've been offered to you so many times over the decades that you just don't hear them anymore. So I think all of this is another invitation to be conscious to be conscious of what you're thinking about all the time, what you're feeling. Are you staying in a place of anger or victimhood or love or compassion? About checking in. Where do you spend a majority of your energy? How are you dialoguing with your body? What are you telling your body? What kind of energy do you give to your body? Do you walk around feeling like you need to save the world? Are you constantly in other people's business, taking stuff on for them, going to fix everybody's problems? All of that can be rocks in your backpack. So what's in your backpack? Do you have a backpack? If you don't, bravo. Just make sure that it's not another form, like a big piece of luggage or a box. Filing cabinets, that's actually one that I have seen when I look into people's bodies. A lot of times there will actually be like little filing cabinets where they have neatly stored stuff away. And when I've seen that the most is when it has been, something large, something very traumatic. So kind of as a coping mechanism and a survival mechanism is we take stuff, we stash it away, and it's like, I can't deal with that right now. So I will put it over there and I will deal with it later. Think about a closet in your house or your garage or the junk drawer, right? There's always some place in our homes where we stash stuff. It's like, I don't know what to do with that. I'm just going to put it in there. Or I'll deal with that later. Well, we do the same things with our bodies and our emotions and our thoughts and our beliefs. And so now is the time in the present moment to take a look at those filing cabinets. Take a look in that backpack, that box, that piece of luggage, that closet, that junk drawer, and clear it out. Or at least become aware of the fact that it's there. And then choose, do I want to hang on to this or do I want to let it go? And we've already had a couple podcasts on that subject. And there will be more, I'm sure, because to me, it's a very important subject because it can have such a huge impact on our lives, on our physical health, how we feel, how we go about our day, has a huge impact on our relationships. So it goes back to being conscious and making choices and just being aware. Are you carting around a bunch of stuff? Are you still fired up about stuff in your past? Are you still mad at someone from high school? And if you get a yes to any of that, then the next question can be, are you getting any benefit out of it? Is it serving you? Or has it turned into a big boulder that you have just, out of habit, thrown into your backpack? So some things to consider. We have choices. We have tools. We have ways of releasing, freeing ourselves. And that seems to be the message that we're getting from people who have lived it and who have crossed over and want us to know that we have a choice. What a beautiful gift. So this information is offered as an invitation to take a look at what you've got hanging on your back. See if it's something that you want to hang on to. And if you don't, let it go. It's time. It's time because we are all needed in our big, bright, shiny, whole selves. And when I say whole selves, I mean not part of us in the past and part of us hanging out with that old high school jerk and not part of us, still stuck in 2 weeks ago when someone stole a parking space, but our whole selves where we have all of our energy, which helps with our physical vitality. It helps with our healing. It helps with us enjoying life fully. What a beautiful place to come from. And all of this is part of this shift. It's part of this bigger energy, this higher vibrational energy that is pouring down onto our earth right now. and helping us to shift and change and rise. And it's hard to rise when you have a backpack full of rocks. So we're being supported right now to be aware, to look at what we're hanging on to see if we want to hang on to it. Is it serving us? Yes? Great. Get the lessons from it. If it's not serving you, then now is the time to release it. We are supported energetically to do so. So thank you to all of those beings who have passed, who are sharing such wisdom with us. And I hope that you take this information and use it in whatever way is to your highest good. Thanks for listening, and I will talk to you next time. Thank you for listening. For more inspiration or to find out more about my work and upcoming classes, please visit ourinnerwisdom.com. And for beautiful crystals and minerals, please visit our sister site at earthgallery.com. Until next time, keep tapping in to your own inner wisdom.